So here's our trusty Dyson DC-05. We had this since about, I don't know, it must be 2001, 2002. It's unfortunately, I think on this, yeah, that part there, the yellow bit, has broken, and it's a nightmare. You can get replacement ones. People know how rare they are. They charge a fortune for them second hand. So I did get a later Dyson, second hand one, like a DC-08 I think, but it was a bigger, clumpier thing. It doesn't seem very powerful, doesn't do the job very well. So finally resorted to buying the first new vacuum cleaner in 25 years. By the way, this is, I checked, it says it's 1250 watts. According to the law now, you can't have a 1250 watt one apparently. So I think the new one is 900 watts, so it'd be interesting to compare how good it is next to this. There was a Dyson for sale for, again, a cylinder vacuum cleaner, a pull-along one, which we like, and it was obviously bagless, being Dyson, and that was 250, but I think it showed it was something like 8 kilograms, which seemed quite heavy. There was also a cheap £99 Bosch, and you think Bosch is a premium brand, but when I looked at the Bosch, it looked like a cheap Vax that had been rebadged, and we've got an old Vax you used to use in the garage, and it's not that good. It's a real faff to change the empty the cylinder, so I didn't want that. So been to John Lewis, just picked up this. So this is a Miele, I assume you pronounce it, being German. And I think this is about 5 kilos, so lighter. Didn't seem that heavy lifting it, so let's unbox it and have a look. Okay, quite neatly packed. One hose, piece of packing cardboard, looking like an engine cover on a modern car. Right, so that's the wand, or whatever you call it, which is much like the Dyson ones. It appears to be stainless steel. There's a little brush, and it's a rotatable one, so that's quite good. There's some tool management stuff. The actual wand does feel quite light duty. Well, this handle rather. Sort of upholstery cleaner bit, again quite light duty. The nozzle, manual, warranty, that sort of stuff. Comes with a 2-year guarantee from the manufacturer. And there's the thing for doing carpets. Again, it doesn't seem that heavy duty. It's got a button there to put the brushes down for doing hard floors. So that's the carrying handle there. So, and the good thing is it's quite balanced, so that's quite nice. So quite like the design. So that handle, that just lifts off the dust cylinder thing. Oh look, there's some little tools here. There's a little brush. That's quite neat. Just go set the right way around. Yeah. And you've got a sort of power, I think we want that on max, power selector. Now the back of the manual, there's a set of little diagrams showing you how things attach, because it's not where all the instructions are, it's right at the back. So at the front here, that's obviously where the hose plugs in, and then there's some sort of filter here. It's quite easy, and then we lift that up. There's a filter. Remove this. So in the back of this there is another filter here. Just pull that out. I guess, oh yeah, that comes out, and then now that the little foam bit, it says can be cleaned under a tap. So for emptying it, so you just carry this barrel and then it's just that button, there you go, and it empties. That's pretty neat. Closing the handle locks it in place, so that's pretty neat. Seems quite a nice design. So there's a little knobbly bit there which fits into that, so if we put that in there, click, there we go, and then okay, so that looks pretty good. So this end of the hose with the smaller plastic end slots into here to the handle. It's a bit fiddly, there you go, and then pushes in, and then that locks it in place, and it should clip with these. There we go, and if we need to take it out we just squeeze those. That appears to be for tool management, so this thing slots on there somehow. Yeah, so if you want to have your accessories here you can do so, and then that will attach into there, and there's a release button. Now the only thing with this tool management is, apart from it's also probably a bit in the way up this end, it feels pretty, like, that's pretty flimsy. That's quite a small thing that it attaches to. That's going to break off and it sort of wobbles around. It's not really clear how you get it off once you've slid it on there either. So if you do attach this and then want to remove it, it seems that there's a in here, this bit, you're going to need to sort of prise it up with a knife, because it goes over this little sort of knobbly piece, and that's actually really quite difficult to get off, so I think I'll leave that off. It's not very useful. Okay, there's it plugged in. Seems to have a reasonably long extension cord. I think that's long enough. So it's got a soft start on it. Okay, fairly quiet. Ooh, that yeah, that sucks. Yeah, that's quite effective on the carpet. Actually, I might need to reduce that level of suction. Or it's got one of these things, so you can let it air out there if you get stuck. Yeah, that's quite impressive actually. And then that's the button that retracts there, so it's still easy enough to lift. And oops, there's a tendency to pick it up by that handle, which is not a good thing, because obviously that's the dust reservoir. So what's it like to tow? Yeah, it drags alright. I mean, it's not the smoothest thing to drag around, but it seems to move alright. So let's try on a hard surface. That's very quiet on that level, that low level, whatever it is. Level 2. You turn that up. Wow, it gets difficult to actually use.
Nice.
That is definitely going to suck the any dirt out of your carpet. I'll turn it back down again.
Yes.
That's quite impressive. I'm impressed how quiet that is. And I can actually see the dirt coming around here, building up. So £289 at John Lewis, which isn't cheap, I know that, but still. We didn't want something with a battery. We wanted something we could plug into the mains. That picked up an impressive amount of dust for like 2 minutes use. Yes, handle locks it down. So what do I think about this new Miele vacuum cleaner? Yeah, I'm quite impressed with it. It's so I like the design. I like the sort of the handle and how balanced it is, lifting it up. It is very effective. It does get the dirt up very well, so I like that. I like the power control. That's actually quite critical. I like the way it's very quiet, or you turn it down to the level for you doing carpets, and it's a very quiet vacuum cleaner. I also like the sort of the mobility of the sort of the wand stroke, the carpet brush thing, because you can, if you're doing stairs, you can actually sort of turn it round so you're working above you, and that works quite well. So things I'm sort of maybe less impressed with, it is quite expensive. What was it, 290 I think pounds. Some of the parts looked less premium than I assumed they would be for a Miele brand at that price. So they looked a bit flimsy and light. Time will tell whether there's any problems with them. The rolling resistance when you dragged it across the floor seemed fairly high. So it doesn't sort of smoothly roll across the carpet. So my worry is that over time you could end up damaging the hose, because you're putting quite a lot of force pulling that hose. As I say, I like the design, I like the colour, although that's potentially a negative, because it's going to, as you sort of scuff it through doorways, it's going to show up damage. Also, along the lines of showing up stuff, it did seem to pick up or create a lot of static electricity, or I'm guessing it did, because a lot of dust, a lot of hairs stuck to the plastic work, which I've not noticed on previous vacuum cleaners. Now, maybe that's partly as well because it's all the components, apart from that sliding, the sort of sliding wand, are plastic, so they're not earthing themselves to the ground. So you get static build-up and then everything sticks to the plastic. So that's slightly annoying. I think some of it is probably because, yeah, I did have my doubts initially about how a lower wattage vacuum cleaner would work. It sucks up a lot, and I think the reason it does that is because it's got a much better seal against the carpet than the older vacuum cleaners did. So it creates more suction, and that gets more dirt up for less power usage. But overall, very impressed so far. I've just done the house with it, and obviously it's a bit early to tell long-term results, but so far quite impressed. So that's a thumbs up from me. All right, thank you everyone.